How's it going? Algebra 1 absent students. We missed you in class today. We would love to have you, but understand that life happens sometimes. We're starting a new unit today. It is Unit 7, Polynomials. We've worked with their little brother called the monomial, and today we're just going to upgrade to a bunch of those guys. And so we know that a monomial is just like a single term. So a poly just means multiple terms. Okay, so that's all a polynomial is just multiple terms. And we don't need to worry about the standard form. I'm not too concerned with that. Just go ahead and cross that out. And we've seen polynomials before. You might have seen something like this. This is a monomial, 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 and altogether they form a polynomial. Now, what is the highest exponent in this polynomial? Well, the highest exponent is 3. And we actually have a special name for the highest exponent in a polynomial. We call that the degree. The degree of the polynomial is the highest exponent in that polynomial. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to just classify these guys, right? Depending on how many, depending on their degree, like the highest exponent, we start off with like the special classification and then the number of terms that are actually in that polynomial. So in this case, there's 4 terms right here. That's also going to determine what we're going to call this thing. So it's kind of like one of those things where you look at the day you were born, and then the month, and then the year, and then each thing is like corresponding to a specific word. Like, what's your like cool metal band? And you'll be like, we are the the dark sorcerers of Christmas or something, you know, something stupid like that, right? That's kind of what's going on here. We're just looking at the degree and then the number of terms, and based off that, we're getting our cool metal band name. But we're just classifying polynomials. But we'll start with number 1. Just kind of going through this. Look, so the degree, there is no degree right here at all. There's no exponent showing. And since there's no exponent showing, it's implied it's to the first power. And so we have a degree of 1, so that would be a linear. And then we look at the number of terms. There's only 1 term, so it's a linear monomial. That's what we'll call it. And a lot of these are nice because like we've seen the roots of them before. Number of terms, if there's 2. Binomial, 3. Trinomial, you know, triangle, bicycle, things like that in nature that we have. This stuff is kind of weird, the degree. But we just need to pay attention to it, okay? Once again, looking at number 2, the highest degree, there's no exponent showing. Both of these guys, I guess, are raised to the first power, so this is still a linear. And then how many terms are there again? Well, I count there to just be 1 term. And how do I know that it's a monomial? How do I know that it's 1 term? Well, terms are actually separated by addition and subtraction. That's why when I was going through this example, I was like, there's a monomial, a monomial, a monomial, a monomial, right? Term, 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 term. They're all terms separated by addition and subtraction. So looking at number 3, how many, well, first of all, let's start with the degree. What's the degree of this guy? Again, highest exponent looks to be 1. There's nothing showing up. This is a linear. And then how many terms are there? Well, this time there are 2 terms. So this would be a binomial, a linear binomial. Okay, moving on to this one. This time they give us a degree. The highest degree looks to be 2. So finally, this is a quadratic. And then how many terms are there? Well, there are 3 terms, 1, 2, 3. So this is a quadratic trinomial. Okay. And looking at 5 and 6, 5, highest degree is 3. So this is a cubic. And this would be a cubic binomial. And the last one, highest degree is 4. This is a quartic, different than quadratic. It's quartic. And there's 4 terms. So that's a quartic polynomial. And that's all classifying is, okay? Classifying is just naming it, and that's it. We're not doing anything. We're not adding or subtracting or anything like that. That's what we're going to do on the next page, okay? Go ahead and flip your page if you have it, or if you're just taking notes on your sheet, just make sure you have enough room, okay? So adding and subtracting polynomials, we've done this before. Again, it's kind of like adding and subtracting monomials, okay? So this part right here, all this like directions and this, get rid of it. We don't need it, okay? We're just going to go through a couple examples here and look at the top right here, right? So zooming into this, 2 examples. We are adding this guy to this guy. We're adding these guys. So when we add these guys, all we do is we combine like terms. Okay? Do they have the same variables and exponents? So this 18x, does it have a like term? It does. It's this negative 8x right here. Okay? And because we're adding, all we're going to do is we're just going to drop the parentheses. Just going to do that. Everything else is going to stay the same. Okay? I just removed the parentheses. And again, I'm combining like terms. So now this might be a little bit more comfortable for you to do. 18 minus 8, we get 10, 10x. Okay, those guys are done. Then I look at the negative 2x squared plus a 3x squared. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1x squared, so plus 1x squared. And then finally, we have 15 minus 10, and 15 minus 10 is 5, and it's a positive 5. Okay, so that's how you add polynomials. Okay, if you are adding these guys, just drop the parentheses and combine like terms. Okay. When you are subtracting, it's pretty much the same thing, except we got to do one more thing. Because this is a negative, you can treat this like a negative 1 right here on the outside. And if you remember our distributive property, I can take that number on the outside and I can multiply it to each of these guys in here. Okay? All this is going to do is it's going to change the signs of each of these guys in here. So on the left-hand side, I'm going to drop my parentheses. It's going to stay the same. And then on the right-hand side, I'm actually going to change those signs. So instead of 10x, it's negative 10x. Instead of 3x squared, it's negative 3x squared. And positive 2, it's minus 2. Because a negative 1 times all that stuff is what we'd end up getting down here. Okay? So now let's go ahead, let's combine like terms. So 6x squared minus 3x squared is 3x squared. 7x minus 10x is negative 3x. And then finally, we have the minus 2, which is all by itself down there. Okay? So the only thing we need to remember when we're actually subtracting these guys is if I have a minus sign out in front of my parentheses, I just need to change the sign of all these numbers. That's all I did. Okay? So maybe let's see another example of that specifically. Let's look at number 9. Okay? Again, I got this minus sign in front here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop my parentheses and change the sign of these guys. So this turns into x squared plus 6. That doesn't change. This is a 6, but now I got to change it to a negative 6 because of this sign out here. And then I got to change this from a negative x squared to a positive x squared. So I just changed the signs. My parentheses is dropped. Let's combine like terms. X squared plus x squared, that's 1x squared plus 1x squared. So that gives me 2x squared. And then 6 minus 6, this part right here, is just 0. So our answer is 2x squared for number 9. Okay. Let's look at number 12. Okay. Number 12. Again, I have this minus sign out in front here. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to drop the parentheses for the left-hand side. It's going to stay the same. But on the right-hand side, I got to change the sign of everything in here. So this is a plus 4x because there's no negative in front of it, so it's a positive 4x. I'm going to change it to a negative 4x. I'm going to change this to a positive 6. And I'm going to change this to a minus 8x squared. It's kind of all cramped. But now let's go ahead, let's combine like terms. So I have 3x squared minus 8x squared. So it gives me negative 5x squared. All right, those guys are done. I have x minus 4x, so 1 minus 4 is negative 3, and then I need my x. And then negative 4 plus 6 is just plus 2, and that is oops, that is my simplified polynomial for number 12 after subtracting. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do addition now. Okay, so number 14. Again, because I am adding, I'm just going to drop my parentheses. I'm not going to do anything else. So this turns into 3x squared plus 6x squared. Or I'm sorry, 3x to the third plus 6x squared minus 18x. Plus 4x squared minus 24x plus 8. Everything stayed the exact same. I just need to combine like terms now. 3x to the third. I don't have anything that can combine with that. So that guy's done. 6x squared plus 4x squared. That is 10x squared. Negative 18 minus 24. That should give us negative 42x. I can add, I think. And then plus 8. Because I can't combine it with anything else. And that guy is done. All right. And then these ones down here, like number 8 to number 16, okay, these like little word problem things, let's just kind of see the setup, but doing the math is exactly how we saw. So find the difference. We'll start with number 8. Find the difference of 6x squared and this guy over here. Since we're finding the difference, that means subtract. And since I'm finding the difference of this and this, then I'm going to set it up as this minus, because difference, this guy right here. All right. We could go ahead and combine like terms, but first, remember I got to change the sign of everything in here before I drop my parentheses. Okay. And so just be sure to do that. Number 16, subtract this from this. Okay. Again, going back to, we've seen something like this before. From this. So from this, we're going to subtract this guy right here. And once again, before I go ahead and combine like terms, when I drop my parentheses, I got to change the sign of everything over here. So the bottom is going to stay the exact same. So there's no subtraction sign out in front. This guy has got to turn into minus 6x squared minus 8x plus 6. And then I can go ahead and combine like terms from there. Okay? This is Mr. Knight signing off. Hope you had a good day.